Arsenal 2, Olympiacos now. Look, now this is a game where, coming into it, we're like, okay, would expect to see a bit of rotation. There was such an emotional high, from the Newcastle game. And obviously this being the midweek game before West Ham, rotation made sense. We saw a few changes. Fullbacks changed. Skelly and White coming in place, for Calafiori and Timber. I was like, okay, cool with that. Marino starting, ahead of Declan Rice, and Odegaard starting ahead of Eberici Eze. Trossard retains his place on the left, and Martinelli starting right wing with Gyökeres up top. We're like, cool. All happy with that. I actually think first half, could have bagged a couple. I can't lie. First half, we were on Olympiacos. But the thing is, I felt like our efficiency today was missing. And it's a shame. It's disappointing because this is the type of game, you want to run up the stats. Do you get what I'm saying? Get guys their goals and whatnot. Unfortunately, wasn't to be. But, man, this game, there was still a lot that, we could learn from it. Gyökeres was bullying guys. Gyökeres should have bagged. Trossard should have bagged. Odegaard should have bagged. Like, this could have been 5, let's be honest. But when you're only 1-0 up, opposition retains confidence. That's the thing, man. But listen, let's talk about how we got the first goal. Because, listen, Odegaard, I felt like he was pulling the strings today. Encouraging display from him, especially in the first half, I would say. This is what you get from Victor Gyökeres. The hustle, the bustle, behind 2 centre-backs, but he's just dashed into that space and he's out-muscled his way there, strikes it, comes off, I think, the keeper's armpits and squirms onto the post. Martinelli's there to tap it in. I was disappointed it was not Victor Gyökeres' goal because, it'll be lovely to get him on the score sheet. And, strikers, they live off of goals, especially a striker like Victor Gyökeres. But listen, Martinelli, good position from him. He was there on hand, to tap it in. And we go 1-0 up. And I'm thinking, 1-0 in, the 12th minute. Yeah, let's rack up a couple goals in this first half and see how we're feeling. But, football is never as simple as that. But one thing I will say, the thing is with the Champions League, you do get spacing behind. You do, especially because of the way teams play. There'll always be spacing behind. So it was great to see Odegaard, forming that connection with Victor Gyökeres. He was playing passes in behind. Even this one, to be fair, Gyökeres latched onto it, cuts in and blazes it just over the bar. I feel like that's the one that Gyökeres should have bagged. He should have had a goal today. Disappointing he didn't get a goal today. But in terms of his general play, I was impressed. When Gyökeres keeps it neat, simple, with the one touch around the corners and whatnot, I'm all for that. Do you know what I mean? So Odegaard, he was pulling the strings. It was a bright display from Odegaard, and I think he's ready to start. Against West Ham, and we'll see Eze on the left, hopefully Saka on the right. Then we move from that point onwards. But yeah, I was about to say Eze. Oh gosh. Odegaard was, he was picking them passes out tonight for sure. And Gyökeres, he was running hard. Like I said, the link-up play was good. Just tonight, the finish was not there, unfortunately. I mean, even in terms of just chances, off the top of my head, I remember Trossard's Trivela pass into the path of Gyökeres, who cut in and blazed it. Should have bagged that. This one on the transition, Odegaard was, patient, played a correct pass to Trossard. Trossard tries to chop it back and isn't able to convert. I'm disappointed because, you expect a player of Trossard's, quality and reliability to be finishing that. Unfortunately, the finish wasn't there. This is what I mean by the type of chances we were missing. Even this one, Arteta had to bring on the cavalry, brought on Declan Rice, Timber, Saka, Eze. And yeah, Saka did really well on the right-hand side, fashion an opening. Odegaard with, all the space came out at the top left, and he isn't able to score. I would have thought he was going to side foot that. Bang, top bins. No, not today. Side foot it, keeper gets a save on it, rolls back up to him, defenders get a block on it, and you're looking at it and it's like, it's 1-0, are we actually ever going to get that goal? Thankfully, that goal came deep into stoppage time, though, to be fair. So this pass kind of reminded me of the Miles Lewis-Skelly pass, that Odegaard made against Newcastle. Crazy pass, just nice. And a player of Odegaard's ilk, and with the skill set he has in terms of vision and ability, you'd expect to pick out this pass. Is a fantastic pass that he picks out. And Gyökeres makes the run as well, ready for, in the square ball. Saka decides to go alone and it squirms through the keeper's legs. Wasn't a tidy finish. Get the second goal though. Saka gets on the score sheet. You want to see that, to be honest. So yeah, just got to move with those ones, to be honest. But yeah, man, I feel like this should have been way more. We were playing with our food. Trossard should have scored. Odegaard should have scored. Gyökeres should have scored. Martinelli could have had his head up from one of the chances, early on in the first half where it looked like it was a 2-on-1. He didn't lift his head up and just, just kick the ball out or whatever. And yeah, man, I think we should have been more efficient. But look, 2-0, clean sheet, we move, man. I knew after, the Newcastle game, there was going to be perhaps a bit of a lull because the emotions of that game, was so high. And coming to a game like this, it's always going to be a different type of vibe and whatnot. But listen, we got the points. On to West Ham on the weekend. Let's do our job. Let's go.